Hi, Gary. You're live.
Hi, good morning and welcome to Vibrant Morning here in BTV Kenya. Now, Vibrant Morning brings you what is in the People Daily newspaper. That is a brief of review of what is in the People Daily newspaper. I'm your host, Gagi Isaiah. Remember, you can subscribe to our BTV channel on YouTube page. Just visit BTV Kenya. Subscribe, leave a comment or ask a question. You can also subscribe and comment and follow us on Facebook page, that is Blackman TV Kenya. Remember, your comments are very much welcome as they help us to know where we are reaching from and how to enhance the services that we give to you from BTV Kenya. BTV, your home live TV. Now, BTV, to this morning, we are not with my co-host Lennox Odede. Is outside there to gather for us more news on what is happening in Migori County. Remember, there is a lot happening in this county that we need somebody on the ground to get us more information. But in the studio with me, I have Mr. Ken Ongaga, who is the Speaker of Bunge la Wananchi, Migori County. So, Mr. Ken, karibu. You know, Ken has been one of our frequent visitors and most trusted visitors. We know that he's here with us. He has got a lot more that we'll discuss. Let me just give him time to introduce himself to us and say hi. Karibu, Mr. Ken.
Okay. Thank you, Saya. To our viewers, the great people of Migori County, we are the sovereign power. I greet you this morning. My name, as it has been said, I'm Kennedy Ongaga, the Speaker of Bunge la Wananchi, Migori County, and an activist, a lover of Blackman TV. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ken. Now, as we said earlier, there is a lot that is in the People Daily newspaper. You can grab a copy. Remember, People Daily newspaper is a free newspaper. Just visit your closest vendor, pick a copy and read more comprehensively, because today we just want to give you a brief of what is in the People Daily newspaper. Now, looking onto the cover page of the People Daily newspaper, as you can see on your screen, is that the big story of the day is why retirees are staring at early graves. People are employed by the government, and those who, remember, at the age of 60, you are to retire from public service. Now, those who are yet to retire, what's happening is that there's a looming crisis that they may be looking at early graves. We will give you more details of that as we proceed. Now, keep watching BTV. Now, on the same cover page, we see Sakaja's poor drainage system is now revealed as a result of the outpour of heavy rains that did pour out across the nation, that is beginning from Nairobi capital city even to down here in Migori County. That is also a story that we will be looking at. Now, at the same time, there are other stories that makes the headline. One of them being that it is believed, even before we get into that, we also see that President Ruto now defends the pact that they had with ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga and the ODM fraternity. That is also on the People Daily newspaper. We'll be giving you more of that story. Please remember to keep tuned. Remember to follow us, and you'll have to get more of that. Also, House State House call saved Kuria's Keen's house. A call from State House saved Moses Kuria's Keen house. You also check into that. And also, EACC in the dock over snail pace of investigation. Now, the Senate is now decrying that the investigations that is going on in the EACC is moving at a very slow pace, and that story will give you much on page 5, where they now declare Kenya as a crime scene. You can also grab a copy and check on that story. And also, I think that's only what we have on the cover page. Now let us get into the first page of the People Daily newspaper, where we see counties cited for 1.3 billion Kenya shillings non-priority expenditure. Now it has been revealed that counties are spending 1.3 billion Kenya shillings on expenditures which are not a priority to the Kenyans or to the county residents. That's across all the counties in Kenya. Now governors splash billions of shillings in non-priority items such as hiring of catering services, garbage collection and allowances. Now the story there is by Masim Wai. You can read more extensively of that story. We see as Kenya struggles to cope with high cost of living, governors splashed billions of shillings in non-priority items such as hiring of catering services, garbage collection, allowances, as well as hiring of guards. You can also check that. That's a story that has been revealed by budget controller of budget Margaret Nyakango. You can also check that. Stories there. And also we see mixed reactions as coast residents embrace Ruto Raila political union. That is also on the same page. Remember last week the president, that is William Ruto, and former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga got into a pact where ODM is now seems to be in union with Kenya Kwanza government, or UDA. Now this has elicited a lot of reactions, especially in the coast region, as many people in the coast region support this. We have a section of people who are divided in their opinion, and now the Bunge la Wananchi section of Bunge la Wananchi in Mombasa County are questioning the wisdom that Raila has had in regards to the union that they had with President William Samoei Ruto. You will check that story and read more comprehensively. The story is by Ruben Mwambingu in page 2 of the People Daily newspaper. Now moving on to page 3, where we see state urge to double efforts towards empowering women and girls. Now story by Eli Gitau. The government has been urged to fast track the implementation of more than 2 gender third rule, national care policy, and recommendations policy, and recommendation by the gender sector working group on gender violence, including femicide. According to the UN Women Kenya, more empowerment efforts towards young women and adolescents are needed, as this population demography has been identified as a catalyst of long-lasting change. You can grab a copy and read that story on page 3. We move to page 4, where we see unpaid pension kitty threatens to retiring workers. Now that is the big story on the cover page. Now Auditor General reveals that National Treasury is yet to disperse 7.1 billion worth of pension. Some would be beneficiaries already dead. Now if you happen to work with the national government, or you are a civil servant, there is a looming crisis, as the Auditor General now reveals that over 7.1 billion Kenya shillings are not yet paid to the pension kitty. That's also a story by Masim Wai. Please grab a copy and read more comprehensively. Now Kenyan workers who have attained the age of 60 are at risk of financial struggle when they retire due to unpaid pension contributions. A report released by Auditor General Nancy Gathungu has raised concerns that National Treasury is yet to disburse 7.1 billion worth of pension to retirees, among whom have since died. That is very painful, and we hope the government is going to work closely to see that all who are retiring in the near future are going to get something to carry home. And also we see on the page, on the same page, page 4, State House trashes Gachagua's claim on Bomas. Story by Alvin Mwangi. Now the government yesterday dismissed the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's claims that Bomas of Kenya was being sold to a private developer, insisting that the facility was actually going through modernization process. Now the former Deputy President is now coming up with stories that seems to paint government black and white, that the famous house or a premise that is well known to Kenyans, that is Bomas of Kenya, is in the verge of being sold. We see this claim has been refuted, has been rejected and termed as baseless. As what is happening, Bomas of Kenya is undergoing modernization process and not being sold as claimed by the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. You can check that story on page 4 and read more comprehensively. Now another story which is on the cover page, that is on page 5, we see Senate panel declares Kenya crime scene. Why does the Senate panel declares Kenya as a crime scene? Because the Oversight Committee takes EACC to task over slow pace of graft investigations across 47 counties. Remember, there's been a lot of cases of corruption in the counties. Now the EACC has been moving in a very, very slow pace, and this the Senate terms Kenya as a crime scene because of the slow pace of investigations that is ongoing in the counties. The story is by Rollins Otieno. A Senate watchdog committee has taken the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to task on why the wheels of investigations on corruption at the Vault units are slow. You can also grab a copy and check and read much of that story more comprehensively. As we move on the same page, page 5, we see state uses ultimatum for bandit to surrender arms. That is a story by Wycliffe Kipsang. The government has issued 24 hours ultimatum to bandits wreaking havoc in Kerio Valley to surrender all illegal firearms or massive disarmament exercise be rolled out in the area. Now the government is calling on the bandits to give back the weapons that they are holding. If not so, the government is going to take action. That is also a story on page 5. Please grab a copy and read more comprehensively. Ruto showcases his Raila pact with 5-day tour of Nairobi. You can see a picture there of how Nairobi residents thronged the streets of Nairobi in cheer of what President and Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, a union that was witnessed last week. Now we see emboldened president begin tour of the capital with promise and goodies for the residents while dismissing critics of government initiatives. We did see a story by Samuel Karaoke. This is a story whereby President William Ruto has dismissed many politicians who are criticizing the union that has brought together ODM party and Kenya Kwanza government or UDA government. You can read that and more comprehensively on page 6 of the People Daily newspaper. Thank you so much, producer, for throwing that on the screen. And we also see President William Ruto yesterday took his partnership with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga to a new phase when he toured Nairobi City, drumming up support for the deal even as he launched various development projects. You can also check that and read more comprehensively. And also we see on the same page Mudavadi jets into Hungary for bilateral talks. That story is also on the same page, page 4, by Faith Masharia, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, has embarked on official visit of Hungary to strengthen bilateral ties, particularly in education and agriculture. You can also grab a copy and read much of that story, which is more of importance, as we know it is going to result into goodies. Now moving on to page 7, Wamatangi says disputed postal land belongs to Kiambu County. Remember, yesterday we give you a story on the same page whereby members of Kiambu County complained that there are people encroaching into the postal land, which brought mixed reactions. Now Wamatiangi now says the disputed land belongs to Kiambu County. You can also check that story by Oliver Musembi. Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatiangi now says disputed post office land belonged to his devolved unit as a squad demolishes traders shed around property last Sunday. You can also grab a copy and see also that. We also see another story which we believe is very important on the same page 7. No cause for alarm over aid to refugees after US lifts ban. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary assured that humanitarian support will continue and those in Kenyan camps will not be affected at all. You can also grab a copy and see that by Zadok Angira. Humanitarian support to refugees in the Dab, Kakuma and Kalobei camps will not be affected after US lifted the ban on the relief funding. Remember, US had banned the funding of refugee camps, but they have lifted the ban. That is a relief for people who are living in the camps such as Dadaab, Kakuma and Kalobei. You can also check and read much of that story on page 7 of the People Daily newspaper. We move. Alai City non-motorized transport registered. A story by Alvin Sumwangi. Now, Nairobi City County Assembly is pushing for new transport regulations that will require wheelbarrows, rickshaws, mkokoteni, animal drawn carts, luggage trolley, tricycle, and to be registered and issued with the number plates by the National Transport and Safety Authority. I don't know, but this one sounds very funny. I wonder how you're going to register wheelbarrow and give it a number plate. We'll dive into that and listen to what the guest in the studio is going to share with us regards to that when the time comes. So let me just finish up of what we have. That's a story that I believe is very funny, but I don't know why Alai is getting into that. We'll see that later. On the same page, we see how State House called saved Moses Kuria's brother. Not only were the officers commanded to ignore a lawful court order or ostensibly by those who swore to protect Constitution, the ex-CS brother was bold enough to threaten and to shoot them. You can read that story and more by Zadok Angira. Police officers at Nairobi Muthaiga police station have been left in a shameful quandary over whether to enforce a lawful court order or follow directive from their senior requiring them to disregard rule of the law and ignore it. You can check that is on Rangul, on the property belonging to Moses Kuria brother. You can also check that and read more comprehensively. Now we move. Before I take on more of the stories that we are having, let me bring in my guest to see on some of the stories that we have here. Welcome once again, as we invite our guests to discuss some of what is here. Looking into the paper, you can also see there, but we are getting right to my guest. Just be ready, keep waiting. You can also follow up with us and see what we have in the paper. As my guest is coming, we will look into, we also see in the paper on page 14, we see suspect in Britton's killing has long criminal record. You can also check that. That is on page 13. I've skipped many pages. As we move with speed, it is believed that suspect tricked the British national into proposed business meeting before February 17th disappearance. You can also check that and read more. Now let me welcome my guest, and we see what we are having and discuss part of what is in the newspaper before we get into what he is having. Welcome, Mr. Ken. Once again, we say welcome.
Thank you.
Now, we have seen some of the stories in the newspaper, but let me begin with the latest that I've just shared. We see an MC in Nairobi, he now wants the government or the Nairobi County to register wheelbarrows, to register wheelbarrows are the mkokotenis, to register the three-wheeled motorcycle, to have a number plate. What do you think? Imagine a scenario where a wheelbarrow has a number plate.
I think what I can say, we are in a confused government where they are lacking priorities to put on the table. There are so many.
When you say we are in the confused government,
yes,
are you referring to the entire government of Kenya,
okay,
or in Nairobi County government in relation to this story?
I'm not in Nairobi, but whatever I'm talking about, I'm talking as a Kenyan. As a Kenyan and a voter in this country. The government is confused to the extent that is lacking priorities to put on the table. When you look at the part of SHA, confusion is there. When you look at the so many sectors, there are lots of confusion. So registering wheelbarrow, I think if only they can consider the part of the constitution that allows them, the public, to participate and give them the priorities that they are supposed to consider, they will not go for wheelbarrow to register. In fact, we are going to an era where when you own a phone, even a radio, you have to have a license, which we have passed a long time ago during the era of Moi. Registering wheelbarrow and ETC are not priorities that Kenya need. Because when you refer to Nairobi, Nairobi is the headquarters of this country. So whatever happened in Nairobi might happen in my county, Migori, tomorrow. So when start from up, we expect it down. So we refuse. That one is not a priority. Wheelbarrow is just a tool for hustling. In fact, when they were campaigning, they were talking about we are hustlers. Kazi ni kazi, wheelbarrow. Registering a wheelbarrow, it means you are imposing a certain tax on that wheelbarrow, which the wheelbarrow pusher will not achieve. So that one is a kind of killing the economy. And it is not a priority. And the government is even confused. I think it should be advised. Yeah.
Okay. Now let us get back to this other story also, which I believe is very, very important. The story is on page 2. It says mixed reaction as Coast resident embrace Ruto Raila political union. At the same time, we see there are some members, a section of members of we call them Bunge la Wananchi, who reject and question the wisdom Raila used to join the Kenya Kwanza government, as they are saying this is going to weaken the opposition.
Thank you.
You being a leader, a speaker of Bunge la Wananchi Migori County, this union between President William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, do you think, in your opinion, or you are aligning with this section of Bunge la Wananchi which is saying they don't see any wisdom in this?
I think allow me say that as bunge la wananchi we have full respect and we honor our leader Raila Amolo Odinga as a great man of this country who has done a lot in terms of representation and oversight, and we've achieved so many things through his wisdom. When he came to Migori, I was part of the team that allowed Baba to go and sign the agreement with William Samoei Ruto. And you know, when your father brought to you an idea, you can't just refuse to side with your father. But we were eagerly waiting for the outcome of that agreement, because when I'm speaking as Speaker Bunge la Wananchi, I speak on behalf of the many people that are talking outside here. And when I'm speaking as Ken Ongaga, that one is my individual listener. So whatever I'm speaking in this media is the views of many people that are outside. One, when we were peacefully waiting for the outcome, after they have signed an agreement, what is on the table, the key thing that the people outside there were waiting for is the electoral injustice, which is the biggest pandemic that has caused the life of our people in this country. Every electoral cycle, our people are going to the street, our people are dying, and that is what we were waiting, that the agreement between William Ruto and Baba, how are they going to solve it? When I was looking at agenda number 10 in this agreement, it was protecting the sovereignty of the people, stop abduction, suppression the will of the people, and scattering the press freedom. So I think it was somewhere hidden where a layman will not understand. When Baba it is not something new. During 1997, 1998, it was a deal with Moi. That is common. With Kibaki, the same. With Uhuru Kenyatta, handshake. With William Ruto. So it is something that the Wananchi are aware that is a common thing. So what the news inside it was supposed to be, how are we going to have an election where the winner will carry the day and he will be declared.
And it will be peaceful.
And it will be peaceful and transparent and credible. Because even if Baba and Ruto handshake today, at their age, one day they will leave this country. But my children and our grandchildren that are still here, the Gen Zs who are on the street, they will still go and vote. Will they be sure that their vote will be counted? So this thing was not just about today. Yes, today we have peace, but what about 2027? Will we go to the street? I hear Ongondowere talked about the deal is just 2 years. In 2027, ODM will part way and UDA will part way. That one, Kasipul MP Ongondowere talking. As a representative of the people, or as a wananchi who are voting and crying every day, how is that one reflecting to our life? So according to us, we love Baba, we respect Baba. But there is so many things that William Ruto and Baba must tell us, need to tell us.
You were there. You were there when Raila came for the consultation. When Baba came for the consultation in Migori, you said you are among the team who gave the Baba go ahead. Therefore, you should be in a position to tell the common wananchi that what Baba wanted to propose was this, and this is the outcome.
You know what happened? Where the sovereign power, yes, belong to us, we delegate it. We've already delegated the power to Baba to represent us. So when he brought the idea that I want to go and unite with William Ruto, we be with the due respect, because we already delegate the power. He's our leader. We respect him. We honor the idea, the request.
Now, do you support the union?
I support the union for the sake of peace. And after supporting the union, I want the union to that unity to bear a fruit and solve the demands of the people. I don't want just to be a joyriding unity where after some time it will break up and we are going to have another mess. We are tired of bloods on the street. We are tired of bullets.
Now you have said that we also have had a section of people that is...
I said, before I finish,
okay.
This is what wananchi want about electoral injustice. The union should be clear such that they sign an agreement that every election, the winner is not going to take it all. Where if NADCO report is implemented, we must create a reasonable office of the Prime Minister, not just a word of mouth, where after every election, the president that is elect will be declared, and the person who was competing in the opposition, will automatically go to the office of Prime Minister, and they will also bring 50-50 to share the cake, a broad-based government.
Now that brings me to a question. Let me ask you this: if after the election you win, you are the president, I'm your second runner, Sindio?
Yes.
I came position 2.
Yes.
And you have created for me an office.
Yes.
Is there a way that I'm going to be a watchdog to your government? How am I going to oversee what you're doing? Because part of the opposition is to criticize the government, is to pinpoint the faults of the government, to act as a watchdog for the government. What is going to come if already you have given me a cake?
The idea was not of oversight is not about fighting. We can you can be the president, I am the prime minister, we are the broad-based government, but we just share the idea. I give you an advice, and even giving advice, then you buy the advice. That is also a form of oversight. Mr. President,
Mr. Speaker, allow me to ask you this. What is the role of the opposition?
To keep government on check and balance. Yes.
Now, if this person who is supposed to keep the government on check is already given an office by the government, how are you going to keep check on the government?
It is not given by the government. Currently,
what you are saying is that what you are saying should be in the constitution.
Even in the being opposition is a constitutional role.
It is a constitutional role. Creating a post of the prime minister is, they want it to be inscribed in the constitution, to be part of the constitution.
Yes.
And you are saying in case of the presidential election, the person who comes second should be given the office of the prime minister, meaning that same person is also in the government. How are you able to criticize, to cross-check the government that you're in?
You know, both opposition and
or who is going to be in the opposition?
Even in the parliament, take it a scenario parliament, we have the opposers and the proposers. They are all in the government, and they are only doing constitutional role there. That's why there is opposers and proposers. The majority and minority, as they say. So even a prime minister can be an opposer, and the president can be a proposer. He's leading the country, yes, as per the constitution, but the prime minister can do a role of check and balance. What we are trying to put on the table is a broad-based government element, inclusivity, where after fighting hard that you create the power whichever the way, you are not taking it all, because that is what has messed up this country. So it should be in a way that we believe that after the campaign, at least I'm going to go to the office of Prime Minister, I will be checking what government is doing. And that office also is in the parliament, as per the NADCO report or the previous report that we've had. But all in all, I don't know what Baba have in that agreement, but what the people are saying is that up to this moment, we have failed to trust William Samoei Ruto with so many things ever since he became the president of this republic. To the extent that we only respect Baba, that's why we are silent.
Okay.
So we're waiting to see what Baba can bring that can cool us further.
Okay. You have said that, having said that, there are sections of people, especially from Migori and the Nyanza region, who are saying Baba has sold out the Luos again. He's in this because of his pocket. What is your take on that?
I can't talk about the pocket of Baba because I believe somebody in caliber of Raila Odinga, the pocket is full. The only thing that I can say when I say that I want our viewers to listen to is that the people, the GNCs, the voters of this country are still failing to understand the benefit that the handshake between William Ruto and Baba Raila Odinga is bringing on the table. Because the 10 points agenda are just words that we have been preaching every now and then. Sufuria movement, we preach economy, and so many memoranda, referendum, and whatever, everything is preached. But what were the pact, the content of this agreement that the GNC can buy and say this one is satisfy us, this one, not theories?
But you see, no matter what you do, you cannot satisfy and meet every person's need and opinion. So we have to get to that. My dear viewers, thank you for that. We will be back. Let me take on the part of the newspaper that we are having. We're moving into Business Hub. Ruto's office seeks 327% jump in budget allocation. Now, the presidency wants allocation tripled to 15.6 billion from 4.7 billion in the current budget policy. That is on page 25 of the People Daily newspaper, story by Victor Mukabi. As most Kenyans grapple with the high cost of living, President William Ruto is seeking to triple budgetary allocation to his office to 15.6 billion Kenya shillings from the current 4.7 billion in the current budget policy statement. You can also check that and read much of that story. And also we see why digital security is key concern for all business. That's also a story on page 26. Please grab a copy and read more comprehensively. We also move to page 27 where we see wheat farmers face crisis over raw with millers. Now growers struggle to make loan payment as lobbies say millers have not bought local wheat despite intervention by agriculture minister. Now stories by Nicholas Waitatu. Now we gave you a story whereby wheat growers were protesting that Kenyans are importing wheat cheaply, hence they are not able to sell their wheat product. But right now we see in this story again, we now see this crisis as they say they are not able to sell their product as a result of what has been there with the millers. You can also check there, and we see we move with speed to page 31 where we see the world news. Growing tension in South Africa as cracks emerge. Now power sharing deal between President Salva Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar in peril amid recent, that is in South Sudan, sorry, not South Africa, but in South Sudan. There's crisis there as we see Salva Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar are in tension of power sharing. You can grab a copy and check on that. As we move, Syria's Al-Shahar launches probe into deadly clash. You can also check that story. We believe it's very important. And also on the same page 32, humanitarian actions key in Sudan and Congo crisis solution. UN decries. You can also see that story from Nairobi. Now we move with speed on what we have on matters of sport. Looking into sport, KDF crashed prisons in straight set. Now Kenya Defense Forces proved too strong, sealing a dominant win to maintain their strong form in Kenya VF Women National League. You can also check that for the lovers of sport and read more comprehensively. You can also check there. You see Nyandarua unleashes 60 stars. Now the high altitude county known for its raw talent sends formidable team to challenge region's best. You can also check that and read. Aga Khan Umoja Junior Secondary School dominate Coast Region Hoops Final. You can also read that story. That's on page 36 of the People Daily newspaper. Team leader Milena is ready to roll safari dice. You can also check on that. And also we see Captain Torore takes the crown. Top golfer holds nerve to clinch KAFGC Vivo Energy Championship. That is on page 37 of the People Daily newspaper. Kenya boxer Onyango lands spot at World Boxing Grand Prize. You can also check that. Kenyan boxing sensation Denzel Onyango has secured a prestigious opportunity to fight on the global stage after being selected by the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission to represent the country in the 2025 WBC Boxing Grand Prix in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia next month. That is great. You can also check on that. And moving on to page 38, where we see the race is over. Mason concede title after Arsenal draws at Manchester United. Now, former Arsenal midfielder Paul Mason believes Liverpool have already won Premier League after the Gunners dropped more points against Manchester United on Sunday, a game that ended in a draw of 1-1. Now, looking into that brings us into what we have. You can also see the Premier League table, English Premier League table, where Liverpool is topping the table with 70 points, Arsenal following with 55 points. Liverpool have played 29, Arsenal has played 28. Nottingham Forest coming third with 51, Chelsea fourth with 49, Man City 47, fifth, and Brighton 46. Manchester United coming on 14th place with 34 points, tying with Tottenham on 30 and 13th place. And we look into La Liga, Barcelona topping with 57, tying with Real Madrid 57, having played 26. Barcelona, Madrid played 27. Atletico Madrid coming third with 56. And we move into a German Bundesliga, Bayern Munich with 61 points, Bayern Leverkusen with 53 points, Mainz coming to the third position. And we move to Italia Serie A, Inter Milan 61, Napoli coming second with 60 points, and Atlanta coming third with 58 points. And looking at French League 1, PSG is topping the table with 65 points. Olympique Marseille coming to second position with 49 points, Nice with 46, and Monaco fourth place with 44 points. That is the standing as per now in the different leagues. And we saw India's dominance continues. Does cricket risk apathy if status quo continues? That's a question. We know India is the dominant winners and more favorite team when it comes to cricket game. Will PSG turn the tables? That's also a story on matters of sport. French again lands in Liverpool confident of overturning 1-0 difference in second leg Champions League duel as PSG comes to Liverpool. Will they win? Sorry for that. Will they be able to win against Liverpool? You can also check that and read more comprehensively. That is what is in the sport arena. We move back to page 10. Where we have quotes of the day. Page 10 where we have quotes of the day. The first quote of the day is from Environment CS Aden Duale. This is what Duale say. Today we have started the Nairobi River regeneration program. Don't back down on this project. We want you to be remembered as the president who brought dignity to people living in the slums through social housing. That's a quote from C.S. Duale. We also see one from Senator Public Accounts Committee Chair Moses Kajwang. There is nothing new. You are going to preach to Kenyans to stop stealing. Kenyans need to see investigations. Investigations done within a short time and culprits convicted. And also we see another quote of the day from People's Democratic Party PDP leader Omingo Magara is saying, stealing of cows is not enough to cause such massive destruction of the sugarcane plantation and death. Leaders are obligated to end the matter once and for all. That is on what happens in Kisii. You can check on that. Now, looking at the cartoon of the day on the same page 10, the cartoon of the day where we see the public schools are standing on the edge of a cliff, and they're saying mathematically the funds are moving at a speed of aka per year, and we see capitation fund is far away. They are stretching forth with their teacher to grab on the capitation fund. And also, let's check on the thought of the day. Thought of the day is by John Locke, and I want you to help us understand what John Locke is saying. New opinions are always suspected and usually opposed without any other reasons but because they are not common. New opinions are always expected. We expect to have new opinions from people, and actually we oppose those new opinions without any reason but because they are not common. That is the thought of the day. Now let us move back to where we stopped with the discussion. Mr. Ken,
Yes.
a lot is happening. A lot is happening in Migori County. The last time you were sitting with me on the table, we talked about the agreement which was believed to happen between the Migori County governor and the border sector in Migori County, especially Suna West. Yesterday we did see border people were on the street demonstrating. What happened? What is happening?
Okay.
What really happened?
Okay. I don't know whether we are done with these ideas of national matters of handshake.
It's okay. You can still
There are
see
some
that.
areas, points that I wanted us to highlight.
Or you wanted to highlight on matters of the union between Raila and
Okay.
Okay.
Because just as Mingo Magara said, I don't know the quote, new opinions are being objected, and then people are used to their normal life situation, something which usually happens. That's where majorities are going for. The people that are outside there, like Kisii and Homa Bay, Bunge la Wananchi, are true supporters of Baba Raila Odinga, and we love whatever the movement has been
How would you say that?
taking.
You
But,
mentioned DC as the supporters of
yeah,
Baba,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you did
yeah.
see they heckled Baba.
Yeah,
Baba
yeah,
went
yeah,
to watch a
yeah,
football match.
Yeah, not always those who love you every day will clap. When you see them echo, which means there is something, the language they are speaking, which you need to go and listen to. I think after this handshake, Baba should form a team to come and sit and hear the views of the Bunge la Wananchi, those who are heckling, so that we can give him some of the ideas so that he can go and put on William Ruto. Just shaking the hand of Ruto is not enough. There is so many things that the people are having in their chest that we need Baba to go and tell his young brother William Ruto. That's why you see the heckling. That's why you see the opposition in Homa Bay, even in Mombasa, even in Migori. We are just silent. But the handshake we appreciate, we support, because Baba is also tired of every day fighting on the street, and Baba also need to relax. We support the handshake between Baba and Ruto. But we want to talk to Baba so that Baba can get from us, the people who are on the street, the people, some were murdered, our relatives were murdered on the street. There are so many packages that the young generation want to give Baba so that the Baba can take to William Ruto. That's why there is heckling, not that they don't like Baba.
You're
One of the things here is talking about, I see good things, the implementation of NATCO, inclusivity in the space of public services, inclusivity. We have a lot to share with Baba on the inclusivity, protecting and strengthening of the evolution. Right now, every day, there is no fund. There is no fund in Migori. There is this lady, Margaret Nyakano, who is the controller of budget. When our representatives in the parliament, like minority whip leader, just said that there is a lot of kickback demanded from that docket. So that is the voice from a representative, a member of parliament. So as you look at today, some counties have not even received their salaries for more than 2 months. There is no activity taking place. So this devolution thing must be strengthened, not just a word.
You just said that what's happening is that the county workers, most of the county workers have not been paid.
Have not been paid.
And why we see from what's happening here is we have what Margaret Nyakaru said, is that the governors, most governors are splashing billions of shillings in non-priority items such as hiring of catering services, garbage collection and allowances. And if you see the amount that is here is to achieve 3 billion.
How is Margaret Nyakamo aware that the items that we spend money on as in the counties are non-priority? Because I think in every expenditure in this country, the people give priority. People go for public participation. They perform based on the CIDP plan, a document which was taken through public participation. So this lady is too much on politics and is killing the devolution. This lady called Margaret Nyakamo.
I don't know why you say it.
Why? Because it is role is only one person in the central releasing the fund. Now governors are spending on things that are not priority. How does Margaret Nyakamo knows our priority as Migori County?
But look at this. She has put this on plan.
What is her priority? What is her priority? If you don't want to compare, you say, Governor A, you have spent money on this instead of spending money on this. What is her priority to those governors?
You see, you just said yourself that many county workers have not been paid.
Have not been paid.
That should be the first
because she failed to release the fund. That is what is there. The MPs, like Honorable Junet said it very clear in one of the magazines, news in the morning, when you can check the Ramogi Majenga news, that this lady, they need kickback. They can't sign your allocation before you pay them kickback. So one of the things that Baba must discuss with William Ruto is how to dismiss Margaret Nyakamo from that docket. Listen to this. The county of another role of a county of devolution is to provide social support to the vulnerable. Social support. One of the key social support is paying school fee to a vulnerable child. Then Margaret Nyakamo coming up and saying, because she wants some kickback on the bursaries, coming up and saying that it is not the role of a governor to give bursary.
But you see, it is not in the constitution.
No, social support is in the constitution. How will you support the TVET?
It is not in the constitution.
So the governor should not support the kids of TVET and whatever. Lastly,
what I'm saying, Margaret Nyakamo is looking into the constitution.
Lastly, you know, when looking at which element of constitution is that?
Go to lastly, is it constitutional for governors to give bursaries?
To give social support. Social support, including some fund, can be allocated to those who deserve, the vulnerable.
Now, my big
building a house to a widow paying school fee to an orphan, that is social support.
Now, my question
Helping groups, the weak people, with funds to grow business. And paying school fee to a needy kid, that is a social support. Doesn't require constitution.
No, I understand what you're saying, but my big question is, in our constitution,
let me ask you one thing.
is there allocation?
Let me ask you one thing.
Is there something written that there's this allocation which the government is, county government
Let
is going to
me
use for the
ask
social
you
fund?
something. Money that is coming, the governor is supposed to spend them through the public participation, and the people will give them priority. The people, let me talk about my county, Migori. The people of Migori has given the governor a priority that kindly support our needy kids with some fund to go to school. Support our needy women with some fund to do small business. Support the widows, vulnerables with housing. So that money is just a kitty which has been passed through county assembly so that those priorities can be given. It is constitutional. Lastly, this is not the first time we are having devolution. Devolution has been there for more than 10 years. And Margaret Nyakango has just taken over the office recently. Do you want to tell us that those who were holding that office before Margaret Nyakango were were violating the constitution of Kenya? And if so, they were violating, which court were they taken for? Because our bursary were there, and our needy people were getting bursary. We even have a governor scholarship, which a former governor Obado was giving. The controller of budget as at that time, which court was she taken with violation of constitution by releasing a fund to school fee contrary to the constitution?
You see, Mr. Ken, I just want us to understand each other. The big question is here. Is there, because every time the county government spends money, the money they spend should be budgeted. We have the responsibility.
Margaret Nyakango,
we have what the governor, county government does. We have what the members of the parliament does.
What is the role of a senator? What is the role of MCA?
Yes.
They are the one to check whether the priorities are considered.
Like you see, let me give you an example. Every time, and I love this about our governor, he has been out saying, you see, when it comes to education, when it comes to building schools, it is not in the docket of the county government.
Social support.
Listen, just listen to me. It is not in the docket of the county government. That belongs to the members of the parliament.
It's okay.
That is what he normally says, which is constitutional.
Yeah.
Now, if now the governor, for example, which is not doing, if for example the governor comes out and start building schools, which is not under his docket.
That is not a priority.
That's not a priority.
And that is not also social support.
But there is no constitutional guidelines that stipulates that governor is supposed to give social support. There's no constitutional guidelines.
I just raised a question that we've been having devolution for long. Yeah. We've been having governors sponsoring pupils and supporting them through education, the vulnerable. Let's say that a kid, an orphan, approached the governor, help me, do you think getting some kind of a kitty and passing it through county assembly so that that some money can be used to support this special case, the needy kids with some school fee, it is violating the constitution?
I have not said that it is.
And that is what Margaret is talking about.
What I'm saying, whatever is happening, Margaret Nyakango is saying it is not constitutional.
So what she ought to have said, that the cases must be serious cases, like the needy cases.
How will you determine this is a serious
Through
case?
vetting process.
You see, we have had all the vetting process. Remember, currently we are facing what is known as the funding model, which came up with an idea. That is the university funding model. It came up with the idea of filling the forms to verify whether this person is the most needy and that.
So,
but still at the moment, you'll realize that most people are not honest to come out honestly and say to us,
the Wananchi, after all those narratives of Margaret Nyakango, Article 1 of the Constitution states very clear, sovereign power belongs to the people. To us as the people who own the power, we gave a priority.
The law.
We have a priority You know, sovereign of that law is with the people.
With the people.
And Margaret Nyakango is exercising that power of the law. And we gave the priority to our elected leader to support the vulnerable. So, through our representation in the assembly, so that they allocate some fund, because there are people that cannot go to school. I want to tell you that the children of Margaret Nyakango is not benefiting in any county devolution bursary. They are going learning abroad, maybe they have finished school. So the lady becoming petty, according to us.
No, I will not.
There are so many funds being looted.
I will not allow you to address a public officer in that manner.
To us,
somebody is trying to.
That is to be too petty, being petty.
All the county government
help our county grow by releasing the fund that has been approved by our county assembly. If priority are not factored, talked about priority, maybe these children are not needy. Let us release the fund.
You see, I'm not talking about the Migori County government. I'm talking about the county governments in the Republic of Kenya.
Not Migori.
Now, I want you to remember this.
The doctors in Nairobi gave strike notice out of delaying of salary. And they said very well that this is the first time we are doing it. We are very serious. In that sector, rarely do they go for strike. This is the first time they are doing after 5 years. Why are they doing strike? Because of delayed salary of doctors. Who is releasing this salary? Margaret Nyakango in her office. Why delaying the release of the doctor's salary? Killing the evolution.
Let me tell you, my friend, it is not that everything we see is positive. But we have to be clear on this.
As long as Bwana you support
now,
this,
is there allocation from the national government?
My point with the handshake of Baba and Ruto, protecting and strengthening devolution, should go straight to the Office of Control of Budget. They should sit with her down. They should talk to her. There is no system that can be 100% perfect. He should consider releasing funds to our counties in time so that our counties can run. That is one way of helping devolution. That is what the people are speaking outside. Economic investment and young people must be mainstreamed. We'll yet to understand. Leadership and integrity is a rotten system in Kenya. We are yet to understand. But our key thing here is that we have a lot to tell Baba. We want Baba to come after the handshake, sit with us, listen to us. What do we want now that the house has been built? What can we take in that house so that we can give Baba our views as the bunge la wananchi? And out of that, you'll never see any kind of heckling. But if it is just through let's move on, then the ground will be heckling because some people are disappointed on the ground. That one does not call that we must support. We are pro Gachagua and is making. Gachagua is a different thing, all the same. But our Baba supporters are also different people.
Okay, let's get back to Migori County. The question that I asked, I'm still going to ask it again. The last time we talked here, you gave us a brief that there was a meeting between the governor and the border sector, and they agreed that from last weekend what there was going to be paying of revenue by the border riders. Just yesterday, we did see the border riders from Migori Suna West County were out demonstrating against that. What really happened? What really took place?
Okay, actually I wasn't not in that meeting. I was not in the meeting when the border met the governor. I only saw it. But I want to talk as a representative of the people on the ground. I want to talk as a Migori person and a friend of border people, and also somebody who is also supporting his vote. I vote for Governor Uchilo, so I also have a say on that government. It is right. It's their right. I saw border people demonstrating. Right for demonstration is there in the Constitution. They have a right to express their views. And whatever they did was okay. According to us, it was their right to demonstrate. I also appreciate our governor by not countering them with any kind of awkward means. The other last regime, when they demonstrate, some were beaten up there, which was very bad. So I love whatever took place yesterday. The border people show that they are in solidarity and they can demonstrate. What is there that I'm still repeating? There is this thing called negotiation and dialogue. It is not an event that can just be taken one day. We have talked, now things are normal, let us go. It is something that can be done on process by process. Maybe they talked that day, they were not satisfied, they did not put all demands into consideration. So our governor should just still call them. Maybe they talked to some section of leaders and some leaders were not called. They should just call to them. As a governor, who is elected by people, he should not give up. He should just call those border people and sit down with them. After that demonstration, those are his people, and I think they are the voters of Governor Chilayako. They should just sit down with them, listen to them again, and ask them, we talked the other day, what happened this time? Because when I was looking at, hearing for some views yesterday from Bunge la Wananchi, there was this kind of claim that the leaders that were there were not recognized by her, some of them. So maybe some leaders remained. And these leaders that remained, they are the ones that mitigated this kind of strike. So I think all-inclusive leadership should just be called back, they sit down. But paying to border guys, paying 50 shillings in a week is not bad. Because we also need our roads to be maintained. We also need our welfare to be grown. Because you can even present your welfare that governor had in his manifesto that we can support the welfare of borders. We also need some of our members to be employed. So this kind of an avenue of creating employment to the border members. So paying 50 shillings, they should all support. That is one. And the government also should embrace the dialogue with them continuously. That worst person that is not needed should be brought on the table so that they come all, then they be listened to. That is what I can say. And I believe Governor Chilayako is a sober leader. He will reconsider calling them again and listening to them. Lastly, even visiting the respective ward leadership and listening to what those ward leadership are talking about is also a priority. But countering border like the other regime did is the worst thing our governor, I don't think we will do. And he will not do it. Okay. Because this border are our brothers, our voters, our people that always help us. And we must embrace them.
Now, you being the speaker of Bunge la Wananchi, you have been talking. What are the initiatives that you people have come up with to see that the county government is running effectively in support of the county government? What are some of the things that you have in place that you want to flow to the county government?
Okay. Just to end with the border case, recently when border Unyateke had a strike plan, they wanted to do some strike on the revenue. They talked to me, and I call him the chairman, Mr. Dickens Kapata. We went to I called the director of revenue. We sat down. He came with some of his 20 cabinets from different stages. We sat. Whatever those people put on the table were just border shade, chairs, welfare account, be empowered, and so many things. Some of them be given priorities to work. And it was solved amicably, and the strike was called off. Up to today, they are still going on with it. They are paying revenue peacefully without problem. That same thing should be done to our borders in town. Lastly, unless there is some political element which is inside this border. So if there is political element, the border people that governor will talk to, they are the people to help us managing that political element. Because maybe a politician can decide to use them, to mislead them. That one you can't control yourself. It is them now to say that now government has given us this and this and this. And we want to end this politics within us. Just the same way they end the issue of theft and other bad behaviors within them. They are great people. They should just be given that priority so that if any politician brings some money in, they will be watchdog. Then government should work with them closely. Let the state house be open for their leaders. Let border leaders just visit state house anytime they want. They talk to their leader. And I think they should be given that privilege. And will help us. So concerning the question of that or whatever we have in working with the county government, you know, Bunge la Wananchi, we give our views. We are non-political. We are non-partisan. Whatever we give is what is the leaders can decide to take or avoid. But so far we have a plan of even calling some of the executive members in our forum so that they can sit and share with us whatever the achievement they have done. That is where we are working on that such kind of plan so that we can hear from them. Because there's this narrative that they are not working, they are not working. That we want them to come and defend and say that they have done this and this and this. And also we give them some query. We have such kind of plan. But Bunge la Wananchi needs resources so that we can have such kind of a seminar. So when you see us not doing a lot.
If you say resources, do you want allocation?
According to this agreement between William Ruto and Nini and Raila, the Prime Minister, there is this part which is touching Bunge la Wananchi, which we believe if it is properly implemented, then we'll have some allocation.
What does it say?
That this right to peaceful assembly and compensation and all pending claims of the human. So this right to peaceful assembly, if it is implemented, then the assemblies of the people will be empowered. So those are the kind of thing we want, Baba.
But you don't want allocation from the county government because it is not constitutional.
It is not constitutional, yes.
I don't know why
but we are praying that it be implemented so that the people's voice can also be, because that is the first stage of representation. You know, the assembly, the elected leaders can be impeached, but you know the people cannot be impeached. We are the first stage. We can decide everybody from that assembly will come back to us.
But they can impeach you as the speaker.
No, yes, it can be, but you can't impeach the people's assembly. You can't ban the people's assembly. Yeah, but the assemblies, elected leaders will just come back to the people's assembly. So if they can agree and empower this body, then work will be easy, because here where public participation come from, priorities are being discussed before implementation. Yeah, because then they just implement.
Our dear viewers, thank you so much for keeping tuned to BTV. We've had a humble time with my guest, that is Mr.
Ken Ongaga.
Mr. Ken Ongaga. Sorry for that. Now we are just wrapping it up. I want Mr. Ken Ongaga to look into the camera and say his last word before we end this show.
Okay. Thank you. My last word is we love Kenya than every other country, because this is what we have. And I want to urge all our supporters, all our leaders, that we consider giving peace a priority in this country, giving Baba time, because we believe that there is no any kind of idea or deal Baba has entered which has failed us. So let's give him time. Also, we love Kenya, but we ask our leaders that are close to Baba that they should try so much so that they can organize and listen to Wananchi. That is what I can say. The deal between them is okay, but Wananchi thoughts are not factored in. There is a lot we need to tell them. Lastly, the Migori people, we should embrace peace. We love this duration. At least we have seen some peace. That kind of early campaign and politics all over, which was bringing chaos, nowadays at least that's cool. So that is the spirit we should go with. we embrace each other, we help our leaders. So our leaders should also achieve what they pledged to us as we focus in 2027, which will nature will carry its course.
Thank you so much, dear viewers, for keeping tuned to BTV. Vibrant Morning comes to an end today, this morning. See you tomorrow, the same time, the same place. It is going to be awesome tomorrow. Don't miss out. Remember to subscribe to BTV Kenya on the YouTube page and leave a comment. Also visit our Facebook page, Blackman TV Kenya, and also leave a comment. Remember your feedback